The wisdom worth more than money, the silence of those who truly prosper. Some forms of wealth make no noise. Won't find them in flashy cars, loud lifestyles, or in the rush of public validation. They live in silence. Subtle, yet unshakable. Not in bank balances, but in how someone walks into a room with quiet certainty. Not on what they post online, but in what they've survived in silence. This kind of richness can't be bought because it is built. Shows up in the presence of someone who no longer needs to prove anything. While many chase the illusion of wealth, the wise focus on becoming rare, because being valuable is not the same as appearing valuable. And when you finally understand the difference, your entire life begins to shift. The most powerful version of you won't scream. It won't beg to be seen. It will move like a storm beneath still waters. Calm, certain, dangerous. True wealth is invisible. It doesn't rush. It doesn't explain. It doesn't seek permission. It is a quiet decision made daily to stop leaking your energy on things that don't matter. Everyone wants to look rich. Few are willing to build an inner empire. But the true turning point, the real plot twist, is not how much you earn. It's what you're willing to sustain in silence. What pain you're willing to face without escaping. What habits you're ready to abandon without applause. What parts of your ego you're willing to dismantle without needing praise. Because those who are discreet on the outside often carry kingdoms within. And this type of wealth, invisible yet invincible, requires more than motivation. It demands presence. It demands self-mastery. And it demands a kind of wisdom that can't be taught, only remembered. Today you won't hear or recycled quotes. You'll hear what no one says out loud. The truth that shifts your identity. The code that rewrites your story. Those who listen, awaken. Those who apply, ascend. And those who ignore, repeat the same struggle with a different disguise. Wealth isn't always kept in safes. Sometimes it lives in the gaze of someone who understands before reacting. Prosperity isn't about noise. It's about noticing. It's about sensing subtle opportunities where others only see obstacles. It's about responding to life with precision, not panic. While the world rushes after ready-made formulas, a few souls are decoding the unseen laws that govern abundance. And once you access this awareness, you can never unsee it, because it reshapes everything. The way you speak, act, walk, choose. A wise mind isn't seduced by shallow shine, doesn't confuse attention with value, doesn't chase noise, it filters for signal, and it doesn't ask, "Can I afford this?" It asks, "Does this align with my future self?" That's the real question, because a rich person with no clarity ends up empty. But someone with vision, even with less, expands every seed they plant. It's not about thinking harder, it's about thinking clearer. In a world of fast opinions, there's extraordinary power in those who ask better questions. Wisdom is not memorized, it is embodied. It is the dance between the invisible and the concrete. It is the ability to turn stillness into strategy and pain into gold. And this only happens when you stop echoing the world's noise and start listening to the soul's whisper. Behind every grounded empire is a quiet mind that learned to observe first. While some talk, others build. They move with precision, not urgency. They don't need to control others because they've already mastered themselves. True control doesn't come from force, it comes from clarity. And that changes the game forever. It's not about collecting more knowledge, but about distilling what matters. Depth beats noise. Essence beats excess. most valuable wisdom is often the simplest, but living it requires rare courage. Knowing when to speak and when to be silent, when to act and when to pause, when to walk away and when to surrender. Most people live in reaction mode, chained to impulses, running from discomfort, explaining themselves endlessly, burning out for crumbs. But those who truly prosper, they slow down, they listen, they filter, and they move to a different frequency, one that aligns with who they are becoming. They don't obey the noise of the world. They dance to the rhythm of their own intuition, so it makes them magnetic. Not because they demand attention, but because their silence carries weight. That's the value of presence. To see what others miss, to stay when others run, to choose differently, because you see differently. Clarity is not a gift, it is a craft forged under pressure, refined by time, sharpened with intention. And once it arrives, it cannot be unseen, and it can never be taken from you, because the light of wisdom doesn't beg for approval, it radiates from within. Everyone wants to leave a legacy, but true legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's what you ignite in those who remain. Your words, your presence, your example, all shape the invisible field around you. Impact isn't about volume, it's about vibration. Not how many follow you, it's how many are transformed by your energy, because real wealth is when your existence awakens something in someone they didn't know was asleep. And finally, the most underestimated tool of prosperity: silence. The silence that protects, that filters, that sharpens perception, that makes room for intuition, softens the ego, and amplifies the truth. Those who master silence master themselves, and those who master themselves have already found the treasure that others scream for. Prosperity doesn't shout, it vibrates, it whispers. And when you align with that frequency, you stop chasing, and you start attracting. Now that this rare wisdom has reached you, what will you do with it? Will you keep running from your truth, saying yes to things that drain you, explaining yourself to those who won't understand you, or will you rise? Will you learn to become untouchable within and unshakable without? Because real power doesn't raise its voice. It chooses. It manifests. It arrives with calm, and it leaves a mark. So before you leave, ask yourself, what decisions must you silence before responding? What patterns must you release to unlock true prosperity? And most importantly, who must you become to finally be worthy of the life you dream of? If this message resonated with your soul, share it with someone who is ready to awaken. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in the next videos, I'll reveal more truths no one ever told you, but that have the power to change everything.